Again.
Taking a whole lot of intentionality.
In this season, you're very impressive.
Keep it rolling.
You want to sit in that seat?
Why?
Just because you're going to do most of the talking.
No, I don't. I wanted to sit in this
faces the
seat.
camera.
We're all done with milk, right? Okay.
I'm going to take this and put it out here.
Look at that. So nice. And the ankle rolls.
I mean, the bigness of these children is unhinged for me.
She says like 5 new words every day. It's wild.
It's crazy.
The talking part is so exciting.
It's funny because when you used to say that you loved 18 months and I had like a 6-month-old, I'm like, I don't know, I feel like this is seriously like, oh no, I love you.
No, you get it now.
It's
Like,
starting to get like pretty fun.
like you're a
It's
person.
more interesting to
Yes.
in ways, but it's like, okay, now I see what you mean. Like they're not just like a tiny little thing.
They're not just this like demanding, pooping,
Yeah.
mostly miserable unless you've tailored to everything. Like they become autonomous. Like
Yeah.
the other day she was like, castle. And I was like, then build one. She was like, and like went over and got the stuff. And she was like, you do it. And I was like, Honora, do it. And now she's been able to say like, this is Sissy's, and she's calling Vincent now instead of Bubba.
Aww.
And but she can't say Karen, so she's like Sissy. And then when I say little Sissy, she's so confused. She's like, there's only one Sissy. I'm like, well, you're technically a Sissy, but I can see how that would be confusing. And then but she'll be like, this is Nora's. So today she had Karen's Yodo, and she was like, Nora's, and I was like, Sissy's, and she was like, Nora's, and I was like, it's Sissy's, and every color is pink.
Yeah.
You're like, hey Nora, what color is this? She's like, pink. Pink.
Like your worst nightmare.
Yeah,
Just kidding.
pretty much. Pretty much. She loves pink. She picks pink in every way. If she has choices, that's what she picks.
So cute. That has to be one in the house.
Karen was there for a minute, and now she's like, well, Mommy, you like green, so I like green, and you like turtles, so I like turtles, and you like this, so I like this. Mommy, I picked this because you like it. It's very sweet. Well, we have had, as we've refreshed ourselves on this topic, Dr. Venn and I have had so much dialogue. So it's a very exciting thing. So a couple of disclaimers before we discuss this. We're not experts on it. We're just really interested in it. There are 2 books that we're going to offer you as resources, so don't worry about that. There is a quiz in both books for you to figure out who you are and who your husband is, okay? Because as human beings, we all have ego, and ego is discussed a lot in this. We have ego, but the ego in us is like, well, what am I? So don't worry. You will be able to figure that out. But most people, and again, I think this also, it plays against what we're like told, like you're a unicorn, you're a butterfly, there's only you. Like there is that part, but there are 4 temperaments. There are 4 major temperaments that people fall into. And it's just also like Enneagrams and what your Myers-Briggs personality can be and all that stuff, and they can delineate it out. Hey Jessica, come on in.
Hello.
Welcome in.
I'm so excited. Our summer lessons over. We can finally make it.
Hey Peyton.
We missed you.
She's like, wow. What is happening here?
I told you we'd have friends. Baby.
I love the ponytail off the side to keep it out of her eyes. It's very
Styled eventually, just not anytime soon.
no. That is a style. Well, and Dr. Vin keeps going like, well, her bangs are long, and now that we've committed to bangs, are we committed to bangs forever? Like, what do we do if we don't do bangs? I'm like, we have to bring them to the side, which Peyton is demonstrating perfectly.
A clip she could just like rip
Yeah.
out.
Yeah, a clip they'll take right out. Well, Nora takes out anything you put in her hair now because she's got big feelings. But the temperaments are really cool because they give a wisdom into who you're dealing with. And I think even now, between 6 and 7, your kid really solidifies into one. And all of us have all 4 temperaments, which is what I've learned. The book that Dr. Vin read to prepare for this talk said that you're really 1 or 2 and not the others. But a well-balanced person can identify all of the different pieces to them. And what's cool about the book I read is that it associates them with characters from Winnie the Pooh, which I thought was awesome. But there are 4 temperaments, and they have really weird names. But it's choleric, sanguine, melancholic, and phlegmatic. They are based off of Hippocrates. So Hippocrates came up with these things, and he actually used it as how to like take care of people, like when he was figuring out like medical stuff.
Yeah.
Hey, Nora, could you like be on our team for this talk and just like not terrorize anyone? That'd be great. You just want to give Hobie the baby. I mean, look how big your baby is, Jess.
Oh, thank you.
So crazy. The boys are coming in. Little boys, but they're coming in with all these ladies. So we tend to be sanguine as a child, and choleric as a teenager, and melancholic as an adult, and phlegmatic as an elderly person. So it kind of gives, so you have seasons where you're more of one thing, but the temperaments are designed by like what kind of person they are, what they need, and how they need to be communicated with. So we've had a lot of debate this morning about what our children are, and I was very confident that I was correct. And then as Vin saturated himself more in the thing, he was like, oh, I think you are right. I'm like, I know I'm right because I am them. Because my kids, Karen is sanguine, and Vincent is choleric. And the colors that are associated with them are red is choleric, yellow is sanguine, blue is melancholy, and green is phlegmatic. And so sometimes it's easier to just call them by their color because the words are so weird. But it's really, really cool to see who your kid is becoming. And one of the things that I think helps so much, because the books both talk about what your child is and then what kind of parent you are, and how your parenting style is going to work really well with some kids and it's going to be terrible with other ones. And so like opening up to understanding who you are and who your child is, and then like because we have 3 kids, it's very interesting to see like now that we have multiple dynamics in the family, and then also kind of uncovering you have 4 grandparents and 2 parents, and so all of them genetically filter into your kid's temperament, but they also influence their temperament. And so Dr. Vin took the quiz and it said he was choleric, or the red. And I was like, I feel like you've become more choleric as we've been married, but when I met you, you were very melancholic. And so you'll also have seasons where you're in that. And there's nothing negative about them, but a lot of people will get down on the melancholic people. But I feel like, because they're referenced as being most like Eeyore, like, I don't think today's going to be good. Or they like to focus on like everything that bad happened in the past and how it's going to continue to be bad. But understanding that if you have that kind of child who's kind of focused on what went wrong, that you could effectively parent them into understanding.
Is the other one?
No. It's a baby.
Can I
Would you like this?
Okay.
Emotional support bottle.
Yeah, can I let Brady play with it? Thank you.
You want to weigh in on the intro, Dr. Vin, before you escape? No? Cool. But it's really, really interesting. So sanguine is what most children are, and sanguine is defined as a person who's like really joyful, really excited about life, wants to play, but they tend to like not pay attention for very long. So like, you know, your kid like gets out a toy and then puts it down, and then gets out another toy and puts it down, and then gets out another toy and puts it down. And so a lot of children are sanguine. Like, so it's the most childlike personality. But if your child has this temperament, then they're going to develop it as they grow older, and you can tailor yourself as how to parent them.
I think the thing that I was going to say, just like, you guys want us to like rush through all this stuff, just to kind of go through it, and you can just be exposed to it and learn it on your own. Because I thought it would be better to just take it in just different chunks. Just like, what do different kids of different temperaments look like? We talk about parents, like what do you guys look like? And then how do we work together with your temperament, the kid's temperament, to make the best situation possible? I feel like that would have been best.
Because Dr. Vin likes to deep dive. So if you guys, we're going to like kind of like go over it today. So if you want more, then we can do more and more talks, or we can just leave it as is. The book that I'm talking mostly from is called Authentic Parenting, The 4 Temperaments Guide to Understanding Your Child and Yourself. It's by Barry Borsky and Judith Haney.
Authentic parenting, you said.
Yeah, authentic parenting, the 4 temperaments. Now, there's a lot of authentic parenting.
Stay in the little room. They're bringing it
You
to
can
me.
ride laps around there.
You can do it in the hallway for sure, Peyton.
Hallway, Peyton.
Then you can go so fast.
Hallway.
He's like, I just really want to show my brother. We can also move that circle. I just put it there because Honora really likes to completely.
Go in the hallway by Miss Julie.
Ride laps?
Yeah. Brady wants to see you go really, really fast in the hallway.
She's like,
Okay, I'm gonna come in the hallway with you. And then you can do laps and say hi to me each time and give me a high five every time you go by. Yeah. Come on, let's go.
Speedy,
Now go fast, fast, fast.
I feel like the types are getting me tripped up because they're funny names.
They are. So we'll just do by color. The colors really, I think, make it easier. But the introduction to this book, it says, we often hear parents say, my child is my greatest teacher. And it is a marvelous and awesome truth that children are mirrors for the parent, challenging them to become better, wiser, and more compassionate human beings. But this also means that their children have the ability to identify weakness, insecurity, and lack of experience in the parent and exploit it to resist authority and have their own way. And so I also think like that's the part of parenting that people like, they like walk into like, oh, we're going to get married, we're going to have a baby, or, you know, like, and then they're like, well, crap. Like, what do we do? Like, this kid is really hard, or this kid is really easy. There's an easy kid. Phlegmatic kids are easy kids. So if you were ever told that you were a super easy kid, that you were like, just went with what the family was doing, and that if, as long as you knew what we were doing beforehand, we were good, like you were a phlegmatic kid or a green kid. And so like it was crazy to like read these things, because a lot of people tend to look at the choleric and sanguine and ignore the melancholy and phlegmatic, so the red and the yellow, and ignore the blue and the green. But the blue and the green have these really important things, like these very steadying forces, and the blue and the green are introverted, and the yellow and the red are extroverted. So usually most people can think of a yellow or a red that they know very well. Like they're like, oh, or they married. Most of the time, a red and yellow marries a blue and green. And it is hard. I am a mostly yellow with red, married to a red and I think blue and green. I think you're 3. I think you're everything but yellow. Truly. And so figuring that out, but one of the things that we figured out big time today is that our son is red, and my husband, I think, is a suppressed red. Like he wasn't allowed to be red as a kid, because reds are traditionally defiant. They know their own way. They're self-assured. They decide this is how we're going to play the game. Hey, everybody, we're going to play hide and seek. I'm going to be it. You're all going to hide. We're going to count to 20. And most of the sanguine people are like, hide and seek. The yellow people, they're like, that sounds great. And the melancholy people are like, well, I could decide to play or I could not. And if I don't play, I don't really want to play, but if I don't play, I'm going to feel left out. But I'm probably going to get found first, so I guess I can try. You know, like that's how they think about it. And the phlegmatic people are like, I'm here to play. Hide and seek sounds fine. I'll play it as long as I want, and then when I'm done, I'll be done.
and that's green?
That's green. Mm-hmm.
It's tripping me up because for my business, there's like tests you can do for different colors, and I figured they'd go together, but these sound kind of different. So I'm like, it's like breaking.
Yeah, so I'm trying to use colors and words for everyone.
Go for it. This is the area of life I'm focused on, and now I'm like, wait, that's blue. Like, are you
Yeah,
sure?
so choleric kids tend to become bullies. So again, that's red. So we can look at negative. And there's also positive. So these people are self-starters, they're entrepreneurs, they're innovative. They don't
think of the color red.
Yes.
Bad.
Yeah. Yeah, and that's the other thing. That's why I'm like, there's two things. But reading the book, it's only 125 pages, guys. I read it in one sitting. Like it's not difficultly written. It's very it has actionable steps. Like so it's like, is your child this, and are you this parent? And it gives you the quiz. So it's $4.61 on Kindle.
There we go.
It's under $5. So I think it's cool because it's really stimulated a lot of super cool conversations between the two of us about our kids. The sanguine are the yellow people, which is Karen to a T. The number one descriptor of them is that they're like a butterfly. Like they're like, oh, this flower seems really good. Oh, this flower seems really good. I'm gonna go check out this flower. And they're labeled as a chatterbox. So like they just want to tell you about everything, and they're generally happy until they're not, and then they're absolutely devastated. So that's one of the things when my husband said, I think you're my wife. I said, well, I just want you to know that this is about to be a roller coaster. Like I am never happy. I'm ecstatic. I am never sad. I am devastated. I am never angry. I am furious. Like I feel all of my feels at 100%. And he was like, sounds good. And then when he's reading about sanguine, he's like, I really think that you are sanguine, the yellow. I was like, yes, I really am. But I also had a very, when they say that choleric is a very teenage time, like all of us activate that temperament in our teen years because we are, you don't know anything about me and I know what to do, and me and my friends have decided that this is going to be the best thing for me, and I'm going to do this for my whole life. And that's something Vin decided when he was 13 that he was going to be a chiropractor, and everyone basically tried to talk him out of it. And he was like, no, this is what I'm doing. And when Vin asked me to marry him, his parents had a meeting with us to try and talk us out of it, because we'd only been dating for 3 months. And we're engaged. And they were like, this is a bad idea. Like, you guys probably aren't going to be successful starting a practice. Like, you don't really know each other. And this is his mom having this conversation. Because, I mean, I came out of nowhere and I'm 9 years older. And I'm just nothing. Like, he never dated anyone. He just came home. He's like, here's my first girlfriend and I'm marrying her. Thanks. Goodbye. Because that's who he is. And Scott, his dad, sat next to his mom and said, I mean, we can have this discussion, but we both know that once he makes a decision, no one's changing his mind. And so, and that's true to this day. Dr. Vin says we're not doing headbands. We are not doing headbands ever. Or high heels. Yeah, It's not, like, I saw a little girl in high heels in here today, the other day, and I knew in his head he was like, it's not good. She shouldn't wear them after her adjustment. Like, just like immediately he's like, no. But he also is like, you do you with your kids. But if your kid's wearing heels and they're like, gosh, they're complaining about their backs hurting, he's going to be like, throw those shoes away.
I can't look at anyone with a carrier with their baby facing out anymore.
I mean, guys, it is my
I can't do it. I can't say anything.
Even when the lady, like the head Barrett baby wearing account on Instagram was like, it's okay for 15 minutes in nature. I was like, so you just want to disagree with me because I said an absolute no, and you're giving all these stipulations on it. It's not good for the baby. Put him on your back.
Because how many people really do it for 15 minutes and then take their baby off and resituate and readjust? Like,
As if that's happening.
But also they're taking them to a blues festival.
yeah.
They're not
I love you.
They're not like going on a nature walk in a quiet place. Thanks for feeling that way with us, guys. We are passionately against forward-facing caring. What do you have? You want to weigh in? Tell them what the name of your book is. Megan loves books.
Yeah, I read them all down. I don't bought one, but no, I'm just kidding.
The one that I was using is The Temperament God Gave Your Kids.
It is a Catholic-based book.
The bike can stay. And
Well,
do more bike.
they're Catholic.
They're Catholic, the people who wrote it. And in Vincent's book, he said, you're 2 temperaments and that's it. And in my book, they said...
Well, no, he didn't say there were 2 temperaments in that, but he said, essentially...
You are 2 temperaments.
Yeah. He said that there are 2, and so even if most people don't feel like they fit into a category of one, and so he had another book.
Oh wait, this is your.
Oh wait, I was like, did you change my case? I was like, oh my god, I just like, okay, this is her phone. I was like,
Nope, that's Hobie's. That's Hobie's.
There's another book that I'll tell you guys that he essentially took all 4 of the temperaments and created 12 different combinations. So each one being the main one and then a sub of the other 3. And I feel like that was very enlightening. That one for you, Megan, is called Spirit Controlled Temperament.
I got it.
Spirit Controlled Temperament is another one.
Spirit control.
Yeah, it's by the same. It was the one about kids was the guy's wife. So it's a husband and wife, and so they have a bunch of them. They have them for couples, for kids. Spirit controlled temperament is the first one I started listening to. Where again, he talks about 12 different styles, and he talks about different people, like kind of like the Winnie the Pooh thing, but like actual people. And in that one, he talks about biblical people. They're just like where they see the representation of that behavior in the Bible, and so it's pretty cool.
Hey, Nora, you need to leave the babies alone, okay, and not take their toys. So we're gonna let people have their toys, okay? They brought them from home. You can look at the babies, but we're not gonna take from them. You hear me, Nora? Don't take the baby's toys. You got it? Okay. Big feelings. We're very interested to see what Honora is. We basically labeled her as all 4 so far.
And you can't find out until they're 6.
They settle into it at 6.
Yeah. My book was talking about how up until 18 months, they're kind of indistinguishable from mom. Like, they're just the same person. And like, we're in this stage right now where everything is no. And so that's when they're starting to become autonomous. Like they're starting to see if they have
That's
power.
why even coming to this talk, I'm like, I feel like it's still kind of gray because
Oh, yeah.
sometimes she's so docile and like focused on things and loves reading books or something.
Would you like to get down?
Like, you are your dad's daughter. So she's like a good match. So.
And so I think that the focus right now where you guys are at, the majority of you, is to figure out who you and your partner are and how this feeds into the frustrations y'all have, like with each other.
All done.
Honora,
We can do the bike when Hazel is all done.
it's Palmer's turn,
Okay,
baby.
so I think we need to give her a turn. Or you can do one more lap and then give her a turn.
Here you go, baby.
On the bike
You go
right now.
Watch
first.
Toby.
You want to go first?
Baby Brady. Listen.
You go first.
You can
You wait
take
your
one more
turn.
lap.
Okay.
And
Wait
then
till
you can
she's
just take your
done.
turn, but we
Okay.
don't ride the bike in this room. The bike doesn't get ridden in this room and there's someone behind
You
you.
can ask her with your kind words and say, may I bike?
Hey, Kyla. Come on in. This is very exciting.
All he wants to do is be on his legs, standing.
It's getting ready to crawl.
He makes it around the house.
Yeah.
But he stands on the couch.
Yeah. My book also said something about you can start identifying the characteristics in your kids from 4 to 6 months. And so you can start getting a little bit of an inclination before a year and a half, but that's really when it starts really showing.
The thing that I was like noticing about Honora is like, so Honora, wait your turn. Nora, wait your turn. Hazel's like, can't stop me. I love it.
So I need this.
Yeah.
I need tips.
I read something today about being a sanguine parent, and it basically made me more apprehensive of homeschooling Karen, because it's a big worry that I have, because her and I are very similar in so many ways. But the thing, it's her favorite. She'll do that for 10 minutes straight. She's a daredevil. Honora doesn't say hello to anyone. She doesn't smile at anyone. She doesn't interact with anyone until she knows them. Whereas Karen and Vincent were like, sup, I'm a happy baby. You want to smile at me? I'm going to smile at you. Like, all that. So I'm very interested. That's one of the biggest key differences I see between their personalities.
You gonna catch her?
I think she weighs as much as she weighs. Go ahead, Nora. Go ahead.
Where's the baby?
No fear.
You should make a meme out of it.
Hard days.
Yeah. How you feel after your kids go to bed. But with being a sanguine parent, I am very easygoing. Like, we could have a schedule today and we could have no schedule. Vincent and I, when we homeschool, he's like, can we do this first? And I'm like, yeah, we totally can. And when my husband does homeschool with Vincent, he's like, this is the way we're going to do it. We do it in this order. We can't skip around. And I'm like, that just doesn't vibe with Little Vin, because Little Vin is also that way. He's like, I want to be the boss. Oh, you want to feed a baby?
Here's a baby. We have to do a
Does it
video.
keep you
This one looks like it's ready for look, I think the bottle will take great. We have this one. We have this one. Can you give it a big hug?
Has a big mouth.
She's like, I want the creep. They want the creepy. Honora?
Honora, you jump in?
Honora.
You wanna jump?
She's got it. Honora.
Jump?
You are being so obstinate.
That's a little different when they're not all like.
Yeah.
Eat and come by mommy and feed baby so that your baby brother can see you and learn. Yeah, I have a big spot on my
But so
knee.
Vincent loves that I can just change homeschool for the day. Karen is going to lose it because she is also like, I don't want to learn about birds right now. I'd like to learn about this. I think I'm going to walk away and do beads. I think I'm going to do this. And that's going to kill me because Vincent will sit down and he will do homeschool with me. He knows it's homeschool time, but if it's different, it's fine. But with Karen, I'm going to have to be like, this is what we're doing. This is what we're doing. This is what we're doing.
Does she see him?
Not yet, because she goes to preschool.
When you get to that, I wonder if you could like do like a drawing of what every step is gonna be.
Yeah, so we have, and I don't really need to use it with Vincent, but I'm really confident I'm gonna have to use it. But we have a visual schedule that is gonna have to be Velcroed to the wall, and you can like change it every day. But it's like we're gonna have breakfast, and then we're gonna do Bible, and then we're gonna do free time, and Karen's probably gonna need that. Whoa.
And maybe if she's not, maybe if she's just home sometimes watching him.
Yeah, this summer is going to be cool because we're going to keep doing homeschool, so she's going to get to see it, but I won't be like rigorous about her being a part of it.
That. I think he wants that. Can you give that to him or find him a different toy? No, not the baby. You don't get the baby. Evelyn had the baby now.
Do you want to go through each of them?
Yeah, you go through each of them. I'm being very sanguine about talking about them.
You sure are. So the first one is choleric, so that's what we're calling red. Some of the characteristics that they're born to lead, they're goal-oriented, they're bossy, they're always right, they're straight to the point, they're impatient, practical, drama-free, and they have a just-do-it mindset. Discipline for cholerics, it says punishment, grounding, taking away privileges is not always effective. Cholerics can outlast you, and so essentially you're just kind of like butt heads the entire time, which is so true. They are strong-willed and often dig in deeper. Allowing them to suffer natural consequences is often more effective. I feel like a lot of the parenting tips that we have are really designed for choleric kids. Allow a cooling off.
Miss Morgan said kids tend to be choleric and sanguine. Like that's where they start.
Yeah. Makes sense.
They start at red and yellow.
Yeah.
They start in the sanguine, but you will start to see their so phlegmatic kids, green kids and blue kids, they tend to watch other kids playing and then go in.
Everyone definitely does that.
Yeah.
She sees other toddlers and stuff and she just stares. Like she wants to play, but she just stares. Like,
So she may be introverted, which for your super extroverted husband, that might be a struggle. One of the things they said, again, Dr. Ben, I'm sorry, I'm totally
You're not
stealing this from you. They said not to try and jolly up your blue kid, so your melancholic kid, because your kid is not jolly. Like, they're happy, like they will have happiness, but their happiness is like within their sphere of control. And so there will be kids, one of the examples was there was a woman who was a coach for a team. She was like an assistant coach. And the head coach learned about this and saw that she was melancholic and said, hey, like, if you need to do it this way, like, it's totally fine. And she's like, that's the first time I've ever felt seen. Because usually when somebody is more melancholic, they're just told to, like, hey, you need to cheer up. Like, you need to buck up and be a part of the thing instead of being the reserved, like, well, I just want to think through this.
Wait, so what is that one?
That's blue. That's
We're not
blue.
going to worry about that.
Oh, yeah, sorry. I'm going to shut up.
We'll get there.
I'm going to shut up. Evelyn went. Now it's your
So
turn,
for discipline
baby.
for cholerics, it says allow a cooling off period for both you and the choleric before showing them in a calm, objective manner what they did wrong. It says use reason and appeal to supernatural motives. And again, we're talking about how, like, for them, this is really difficult. For me, is that you don't just say, you need to do this because I said so. If you give them a reason, though, which Bridget is so good at this, if you give a reason for why there's whatever rules or discipline there is, then they're much easier to accept that. So keys for the choleric, they're hardwired to debate. They have a quick temper. so the book was suggesting to help your child fight the right fight. So instead of just fighting to fight, give them like an actual purpose and something worth fighting for. They have a strong will, so that will guide his will to accomplish the good. They need to have accomplishments acknowledged. So even Vincent, like today as we were getting ready, he's like, "Daddy, watch." And I was like, "Wow, you did a front roll." He's like, and I
It's
said
a
the wrong
forward
thing.
roll. It's a forward roll.
And so
In
that wasn't.
jiu-jitsu, it's a forward roll. It's
wasn't
not a
good
front
enough.
roll. And Vincent, and then he gets defensive, and he's like, "It's the same thing." And Vincent's like, "No, it is not. At jiu-jitsu, it is a forward roll, and that is what I was doing." And he's like, "It can be called a front roll." And I was like, "You're fighting with a 6-year-old."
Glimpse into our house. They need rational arguments and reasons, and they need to have a sense of control. And so that's where typically a suggestion that we give people is just like, if you're in, like for Karen, when she gets dressed in the morning, we don't say, "What do you want to wear?" It's like, "Would you want to wear this or this?" And so if you give them that sense of control, then they will thrive in that, as opposed to just saying you need to wear this or pick whatever you want.
What if you have a kid that you say here's this or this and they say this?
That's fine.
And it just comes out of the.
Yeah.
That's what my kid is. And it's from day one of having an opinion. There's two options. This is the other option that she
Yeah.
makes up in her head.
I personally wouldn't care. The two options for me is just to simplify it, so we're not standing there for 40 minutes trying to figure it out. If you give two
Karen
options and
gets
she picks a
paralyzed by
third, then
choices, yeah.
it's just like, then I'm okay with that.
But so
that's me
so
personally.
the goal is, in that moment, the goal is to get dressed. So the other thing that we learned about Karen is Karen doesn't want to be alone. So when we say, "Karen, please go get dressed," she does not want to do it by herself.
Do you want this?
She would like you to come along and have a part. And she'll even say to me, "Mommy, why don't you pick what I'm wearing?" And I've said to her, I'm like, every time I pick what you're wearing, you don't like what I pick.
You're not gonna take out of her hands.
But today I said, "Hey, it's time to get dressed." And you could just see like the defeat on her face, like, I have to go in this room by myself and decide what I'm going to wear, and I don't want to do that. I said, "I washed everything you own. So you have all of your skirts with shorts underneath and every shirt that you love, and you can pick out both of those things and come out." And so instead of being like, you need to get dressed and go in and make all of these decisions, and if you want to dress or if you want to wear shorts, all this stuff, I said, your favorite things are ready. You can put any two together. I can't wait to see what you're going to come out with.
Nice catch. You were up and then you went back down. Nice catch. That was close. That was scary.
I was watching it.
That was you developing your mother of two skill. But this, like, inside of you, you are generating a 2-kid awareness, because it's gonna be.
Like always had that. Like one time, Alex, he was walking behind me, and there's like this fencing.
Can you give it to Hobie?
And I was like, "Watch your head." I'm like, "I don't think he heard me." And I just went like that, and literally he like smacked his head on my hand as soon as I put my hand. I'm like, I wasn't even watching. Like that was crazy.
That's also the inner like dad move, right? Because like the dads are the ones who are like, "Oh, this kid's falling." And you're like, "How did you do that?" He does that all the time.
All right, so that's choleric. Choleric is red. Melancholic, blue. Their characteristics, they're like still waters, so they're very calm. They have a low threshold for stimulation. They have unrealistically high expectations. They need time for reflection. They're highly sensitive, and they're idealistic, which goes along with their high expectations. Melancholic or blue.
What color is blue?
You can either take turns or we don't have.
They have an inner enthusiasm, and I'm going to read this straight from the book. It says they want to talk, they love their friends, and they're enthusiastic on the inside, or only with very close friends and family. Melancholics are introverts, but this does not mean simply that they are shy. Rather, it means that they gain energy from their interior life. They are reserved and slow to warm up in social situations. They are more comfortable with their thoughts and ideas. They are happy to socialize, especially with close friends and family, but it takes a toll. And so their difficulties are that they are slow to initiate, they're prone to worry, they have a negative outlook, and they lack confidence. And so in the book it talked about a melancholic child having, they didn't say a choleric, but essentially a choleric friend, where the choleric friend takes the lead and the melancholic person is like the Robin to their Batman. And so the melancholic person feels more comfortable if they have the choleric person with them going into social situations, because the choleric person will take the lead and then they just kind of follow behind.
Which is why they get married.
There you go. Keys to the melancholic child: avoid harsh and punitive discipline, as it may increase their anxiety. Be firm but gentle. First, connect with empathy and then ask for a change. Catch them being positive, helpful, and cooperative, and praise them for it. And then use rewards and words of affirmation to direct the melancholic positively.
Now you lost it.
And that's even where for melancholic in the book it said, if you have a melancholic child, you should try to give them 5 positives for 1 negative.
Which Dr. Vin came to me today. He's like, so anytime you need to correct me, I need 5 positives and 1 negative. And I was like, that is going to be challenging for me.
What do they call that sandwich thing where you do a
Positivity sandwich.
Yeah. And so they need a double sandwich. It's like 5 to 1. And so that's melancholic and that's blue.
Hey, Hazel, come here.
Sanguine, which is yellow. The characteristics are they're lively, expressive, mercurial, and easily distractible.
Wait your turn.
You want to know what mercurial means?
I know what mercurial means. I was saying easily distractible.
Oh, is that the
Sorry,
look?
30 minutes into this talk.
True.
Just getting there. Discipline. So for sanguine
Hazel,
kids,
no one's using this.
you need to set limits and expectations before entering into something. And then they also said that they have to learn the hard way. There's not going to, in order for them to learn, they have to learn from their experiences. Like they gave the example of a kid parking his car in the spot where it says, don't leave your car here. And he said, well, they don't check it. And then they towed the car and he had to pay $150.
I just did that at UNF. Really? I've gone there like 5 times, never paid for parking. Last time I went, $30 ticket. In my mind, in girl math though, that's like I paid every time, so. Dr. Vin was like, what? What do you mean you got a parking ticket? It's all because my app doesn't work. It's like, you need to unlock this. So I put my phone number in and it's like, we sent you an email. I'm like, you never send me an email. The email's never coming.
Tell that to the judge.
I paid the ticket.
Keys to the sanguine child: set clear expectations, rules, and limits ahead of time. Show appreciation for his friendliness, enthusiasm, and initiative. Reward difficult tasks with something fun. Ice cream after... Well, it's a Catholic book, so ice cream after confession, for example. Show interest in his friends, but encourage him to choose wisely. Don't take away his fun, but don't leave him entirely to his own devices. Provide structure and order, and that's the part with homeschool that you're worried about, is that Karen's going to need lots of structure and order. And then monitor projects and tasks closely. Walk him through a difficult task the first time around. They said if you take a sanguine child and say, go clean your room, and leave them there for an hour, there's no chance that their room is going to be clean at the end of that hour. Because they need structure and guidance.
Which Karen will say, can you just come in with me? Can you just be in here?
Yeah.
And if I say, hey, let's pick up your dirty clothes, she's like, got it. Let's put the books on the shelf. Got it.
I mean, reading through this, I was like, gosh, it's so helpful. Just like having the framework, because you take your child in a sea of vastness and you're like, man, they've got all this stuff and I don't know how to talk to them. I don't know how to deal with them. And you're like, even if it doesn't fit perfectly, if you could say, man, they're mostly a part of this category. And because of this category, then I know this is how I need to talk to them. This is how I need to discipline them. And if you need to adapt, you can adapt from there. But at least it gives you a framework, so you're not starting with a blank canvas.
That's how Alex and I felt when we even started doing this just in our marriage, even pre-parenting. That's why I'm like excited to dive into it now that it's like there's more dynamics happening. But because he used to, and he'll say this too, this probably coming from me, it sounds like a butthead thing to say, but he would be like, he would see me not taking initiative sometimes as like a weakness. He'd be like, why wouldn't you just do it? Like, but then he understood my personality type, and he's like, oh, you're just much more calculated. Like, you put more thought into things. It's actually a strength that you have. Because a lot of times he just goes for it and it gets him into trouble. So he's like, oh, and that's like actually something, it like gives you more perspective. It sounds like Peyton.
Peyton, I'm right here.
Should think our kid did it.
There's a solid chance.
Oh yeah. Pull my hair.
Who pulled your hair? Was it Honora?
You can cry him. Right there on your head.
Honora pulled it?
That's what she said.
Honora, did you pull her hair? Yes, you did. You're smiling. Honey, can you say you're sorry to her?
She's just crying because I heard.
Say sorry.
She's like, I'm sad too.
Okay, come with me, please. I'm gonna hold you. Well, you're not listening.
Yeah.
Once you do the quiz.
I think the quiz will be helpful for sure. Because again, even a lot of these are just like very superficial. And so like when they go through the characteristics of many, I think it helps clarify quite a bit.
Where it comes from.
Yeah, like I said,
Jordan, go, Jordan, go.
So it's like which one shows up most, which one's most dominant.
Jordan's
which
like,
one is
thank
your
God.
natural way of
Back with
responding.
me.
Like,
Yeah.
you probably can be all of them, but then like, which one are you most?
Do you want to play out here
Yeah, that's
with the big girl?
right. Yeah. Yeah, it even said with the quiz, like, don't respond how you want to be seen, respond how you actually are, because I think it's a hard part with a lot of the quizzes. The last one is phlegmatic, which again is green. Characteristics are placid. Can't we all get along? They have a few words. If you give them a decision, they say you decide. They're not likely to stand out in a crowd. They said for disciplining a phlegmatic, they said it's almost more like you don't have to discipline them because they pretty much don't do anything wrong. It's more, yeah. They said you have to. It's more about motivating them. Like, how do you motivate them to do what it is that you want them to do?
But also understanding that when they start something, they have to finish it.
Yeah.
So they can't, like, if they'll get deeply immersed in something, and so they will be like, oh, well, I'm gonna do, like, let's use a puzzle for example. If you're like, hey, you want to do puzzles? They're like, yes, an independent activity that has a start and an end. I'm all in. And then they're taking time, but you have to leave in 30 minutes. And you're like, all right, we got to go. And they're like, but the puzzle isn't done. And they don't want your help. And so knowing that's your child will be like, okay, they're really going to get into coloring. So if this is not a mobile activity where we can take it with us, we should not start this thing. But they're going to be great at homeschool if you choose to homeschool, because they're going to be like, all right, we're doing school right now. We're going to sit, we're going to learn. I'm going to do this thing, and then I'm going to be done. And then I get free time at the end. And there's so many homeschool moms that are like, oh, my kid's so great at that. They just know they earn their free time and then they go. And I'm like, that is not my children. My children are like, are we done? What's next? What are we doing today?
She learns kindness too.
Yeah. It says, this seems like a pretty mean thing to say, but there's iterations of it that we say all the time. It says, instead of saying, is there anything going on inside that head of yours? Try this. Let's go out for smoothies and we can talk about what's going on at school. And then it says, the greater danger for phlegmatics is becoming apathetic, dull, and slothful. So the keys to a phlegmatic child is engage them often, encouraging social and leadership skills, praise them frequently for their cooperation and good attitude and achievements, don't ridicule, nag, or criticize harshly, help them build confidence and a sense of competence, watch out for discouragement, and again, motivate, don't just legislate or take over for them. So that's all four.
So what if you're like the same?
What do you mean? Oh yeah.
So I'm sanguine and Karen's sanguine.
That's rough.
And that's really hard. And Dr. Vin is choleric,
Yeah.
which is red, and I'm yellow.
I think I'm red.
Yeah, and Vincent is red. And so both of them
Yeah.
are definitively ready to do things their own way. And neither of them wants to budge. So when he homeschools Vincent, it takes 4 hours because every single thing they do is a battle because he wants it his way and Vincent wants it his way. Me and Vincent can get done with homeschool if we really put our minds to it in 45 minutes. Because I'm like, hey man, let's get this done. We're going to do these many things. And which one do you want to start with? He's like, oh, okay. So with Karen, I'm going to struggle, but that's why, so we've been discussing, my husband feels strongly that Karen should not go to the forest kindergarten and that we should just keep her home. He's like, she's ready. And I said, she may be ready. I do not think I am ready. And I explained to him slowly today when it talked about like how a sanguine parent and a sanguine child, yellow mom and a yellow kid, would struggle. I said, I think that I need a Nora in preschool so that I can effectively homeschool Karen and Vincent together. And that's what would happen if Karen does one more year and she does this forest kindergarten thing, which I think is the most epic kindergarten ever. You drop them off in a sand dune in Hannah Park from 9 to 1. You pick them up if there's thunder and lightning. Other than that, they're outside all day. They hike somewhere in Hannah Park. They have a snack. They do a story. They do a craft. It's great. That's the other reason I think with having two heavier in the red area parents, why we like to outsource preschool, because our patience level is very low. And so a lot of the book will talk about like when you have these children and you should do this or you should be looking at this. And I'm like, I don't feel like I'm in a healthy enough state at this time, or I don't have enough demands on me. I have too many demands on me to be good at this. So I'm very happy that we outsource to a school that really focuses on the 4 temperaments and developing them. Very happy. Very satisfied with my choice. But I feel like if I got the privilege of just being with them all the time, and not having any other responsibility other than the home and kids, that I feel like I could lean more into like kind of unwrapping each child as they come. So if you are the same as your kid, you are going to be heavily reparenting yourself. Heavily reparenting yourself. Yeah. Like you are like, because they're things that trigger you are the wounds that you had that like were smushed down in you. That was a good one, Hazel. And so that I think is, again, that's, I've always, like everyone always says, the kid that is the hardest for you is the one that's most like you. And that's definitely Karen for me. But there's also so much to Karen that like when she's joyful and happy or talking to me, like I feel so good with her. Because I feel like me and her,
like the best parts of you.
Yeah, the best parts of me, like everyone's always like, her laugh is the best. Like it's so amazing. And then, but also when she's sad, she's absolutely devastated.
You have a dirty diaper? You just had one. No dirty diaper.
Honora pooped on the potty yesterday of her own volition. I just want to share that with everyone as a win. She was naked. She walked over to the potty, sat on it, pooped, and came and got me. I wasn't even in the
Do you have
room.
like a small potty?
Yes.
Is that what you guys do?
Yes.
I'm like kind of on a breaking point of like, oh, are you okay? Your chiropractor's sitting right next to us.
Be gentle with our neck, okay? We talk
So I will tell you, especially for poop, having the small potty because their feet are in the right position,
Yeah.
this is a very hard position to poop in.
I just went to a friend's house. I think they have like a 3-year-old, but they had like the one. It's like a step stool up to it, and then like folds onto the potty.
We tried that. We tried that. Their legs still dangle. So like you know how everybody's buying the squatty potty and they're trying to like elevate their legs? You get that. A kid gets that in a kid potty. Hey Peyton, can you go so the next people can go?
Jump.
Peyton, we take our turn.
1,
You can go
2,
down the
3,
slide
jump.
or jump and belly
Hey
flop.
Hobie, that's a shoe.
Whee! And then we go around so we have enough. No, we're gonna let her go first. And then Peyton
Anything
goes
else?
to the beginning of the stairs.
No, but I can either screenshot or just tell you guys the book of the quiz. Because I really feel like if you wanted to talk about it again next week, we could. But with you guys having more information about either who your parents are
That'd be fun.
or who you are and who you found out your spouse is. Because also because your kids are so young, they're like developing this. But there might be tendencies that you see. I really think that it's just even doing this with you guys again has helped us realize why it's so easy for me and Vin and so easy for him and Karen and why why it is so hard in the opposite ways.
Well, then you can strategically divide and conquer insert. It's like, okay, then you and Ben just do homeschool because it's more efficient for everybody's mental health or whatever. You know?
Peyton, it's your turn. You can go down the slide or do a big jump. Ready, set, go!
I like how Peyton decorated herself.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no water tattoos.
Tattoos. Yeah.
It's very exciting.
Cannonball or belly flop.
Ooh, sorry.
Peyton, cannonball or belly flop.